It's the weekly show about Pro AV with the hottest news in the AV industry. It's rAVe TV. Give it up for Steph and Gary. Steph and Gary.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to my co-host of the day, Tim Albright. How are you?
I am well, ma'am. How are you?
I'm tired.
I'll bet. Where are you? How about that?
I'm in California, so it's like a cheeky 6 a.m. right now. So yeah, but I don't know what's going on because last week I was in Denver and this week I'm in California, and then I was in North Carolina for a little bit. So I don't.
Yeah, three time zones in a week.
So truly, what time is it? Yeah. That's a great question. What time is it?
It's relative. Time is relative.
It is. It is. So we both. Well, you were in Denver last week for some different appointments that you had. I went to CEDIA Expo.
And how was it?
I actually thought it was good. I think there was a lot of talk, a lot of rumors. The rumor mill loves to get started before any show because I think I don't know, I think that people are a little wigged out about attendance of shows in general right now. Are we ever going to truly get back to where we were before COVID? I don't know. But honestly, the show floor was busy. The show floor was busy. So it wasn't like ISC. I wasn't shoulder to shoulder with people. I could move. But it was very busy. And most of the booths that I went to, I had to search to find someone to do the videos because everyone was busy. It wasn't like people were standing around in their booths doing nothing. So I would say it was successful. We have Michael from Crestron who's going to come on in a little bit, but they were busy the entire time. Yeah. I had to come back multiple times to be like, hey, can I get a video of this? They were busy.
So if you think about a trade show as a mall, right? And I am old enough to remember the first malls. But you think about the malls. There are anchor stores.
When were the first malls?
70s.
Where did people go before that?
It's a very long story, but they went to they had stores in downtowns, right? Downtowns was a thing, and that's where they had the stores. I mean, if you think about downtown, Midtown Manhattan, there's a reason there's a Macy's, not in a mall, right? Because that is that is the epitome, at least in the American culture, that is where we used to shop, right?
To a big department store.
To a big department store in a big area in your town, the town square, right? In smaller towns where that would be where the Five and Dime was. It would be the general all-purpose stores would be.
Okay, that is sounding so Western. Yes, and then you'd go to the local saloon after you went to your Five and Dime store.
Pick up a handful of nails and some chicken feed, and anyhow. So in malls there were anchor stores, right?
Yes.
And this was Macy's, right? This was JCPenney. This was the Sears. I would consider Crestron an anchor store, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You take a look at trade shows. So if they're not busy, there's a problem, right?
Right.
So that right there is inherent. I would be interested to see what the smaller folks in the back 40, as they say, what their experience was like last week.
Well, I walked around pretty much everywhere. I didn't get to get videos of everyone on the show floor this year because it was just me. I did my best, but I think I ended up with 35 or 40 videos.
That's a lot.
But still, when I'm used to our team getting a cool 200 or 300 at CEDIA, when I'm coming back with my shrimpy 50 or 40, I'm oh, what did I do? But I did try to go see just about everybody and say hi and look at most people's products. And I will say even Displace TV in the back corner, busy.
Yeah.
Busy the entire, I didn't even get to talk to them because they were so busy running demos. So it did seem like even the smaller people, at least for the most part, I think that it was a little slow right when it opened, 9 a.m. on Thursday. But it really picked up right before lunch and then again at 3:30 p.m. It seemed like the show floor had gone really crazy again.
Very cool.
Yeah, obviously your Crestron, your Sony. I would say Legrand was really busy the entire time from what I saw.
Okay.
Lutron, you couldn't really like Lutron was crazy. And AV Pro was super busy the
Okay.
entire time. So like of course like the big anchors, like those are usually a good bellwether. If they're really busy, if they constantly have people, if they're constantly running demos, like that's probably a successful trade show.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's weird. I sort of talked about this last week, but
Mhm.
this part of the year, there's a bunch of trade shows kind of all coupled together.
Yeah.
You've got CEDIA that was last week.
Yes.
Infocom India started earlier this week. Um,
Yes.
I'm heading out this afternoon to go to IBC
Yeah.
over in Amsterdam
Yep.
tonight, which is the 12th through the 15th.
Yep.
Over in the rye in Amsterdam. Have not been to the rye since
I
the last
haven't
time
God.
ISE was there.
Yeah, I haven't been to the Rye since 2020.
Yeah.
Well, good luck finding your way in there.
Jeez.
Enjoy that.
It's interesting. It's
Yeah,
I've referred to the rye as a fun house, right?
it is.
Yeah, you could turn a wrong corner and end up in a completely different part of the building that you had no intention of ending up.
And you're no longer in Amsterdam at that point. You were in a new city.
Yeah,
Like,
you're in Denmark.
yeah. So that'll be really cool though. So
Yeah.
I've never been to IBC. This is your first IBC then?
My first IBC. My first
Okay.
IBC. I know you've done this the last couple of years. I've done this the last couple of years. Gone to NAB, right,
Yeah.
in Vegas. This is the European version of NAB. So lots of broadcast partners, folks that you and I have talked to at NAB. And like
Mhm.
Shure is going to be there.
Yep.
Sony will be there. Ross Video, Blackmagic, of course.
Yeah.
And then some folks that are inherently European broadcast manufacturers. But the more that the AV community starts leveraging broadcast technology, starts putting it into their facilities, whether that's corporate or higher education,
Mhm.
the more important shows like this are going to be.
Okay. Yeah, I 100% agree with you. And yeah, a lot of the smaller regional shows are happening right now too. Gary is at TD SYNNEX's show in Dallas,
Okay.
and I'm here at Almo Pro AV's show in Santa Clara. So we really split up to
Yeah.
give both distributors. He's doing the keynote there, and I'm teaching a class here.
Very
So
cool.
yeah, I mean, obviously not as big as of a show floor as what you are doing, but I am leading a tour for people who are new in the industry or just people who are overwhelmed by that show floor experience to just kind of stop them by a few of the manufacturers and kind of show them like, okay, well, this is who these people are and this is what they make, and maybe share a few fun facts about them and kind of give them that face time with that manufacturer if they don't know anyone there.
That's actually kind of cool. It's a little bit of what you and I've done a couple times now with the tech tours.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Except this is like 30 minutes. Like I
Okay.
just take them around and we do a real quick
Okay.
with it.
Yeah, you and I, we were planning our ISE one. I think we planned for 2 hours, 2.5 hours.
Yeah. Well, we are going into different halls, so that makes
We
a lot
are.
of sense.
We are.
But yeah, okay. So do we want to bring on our guests now?
Oh, absolutely, Mr. Short.
All right. Let's bring them on.
Hi guys,
Good
Hi,
morning.
Michael. How are you?
I am doing great. A bit like you, Steph. I'm recovering from being in Denver. I
Right.
was in New York, then Denver, now back in the UK. Not sure exactly where I am, in terms of my body, but I'm almost there, and I've got a voice, which
Yeah.
usually
That's important.
even today doesn't fully come back. So yeah, I didn't live it this year, but it's great to be on. Appreciate the invite.
Of course. So obviously, Tim and I were talking about how Crestron seemed to have a really successful CEDIA Expo because every time I walked over to y'all's booth, it was absolutely super busy.
Yeah, I mean, like you were saying, we're definitely an anchor of the show. We've been there from the beginning, and we are an anchor for many of the dealers. So we were very busy. I'd actually put that down to the work that our sales team and the marketing team did to drive attendance and meetings in our booth. So we had great traffic from a lot of people that we invited. I think, like you were saying, the show on day one definitely felt busier than expected. I think all of the
Yeah.
noise before about low attendance definitely didn't feel that on day one. I think Friday, Saturday, it was certainly slower. We were busy, but again, our sales team had back-to-back meetings. The rest of the show floor, I can't speak for, but we were busy. We felt like we had a really successful show. I think because also we launched a ton of new products and software updates this year, probably more than we have done in previous years. For us, we knew that this was going to be a big moment, a big moment in time for ourselves and our dealers. So it felt like a great show for Crestron, and at the end of the day, that's all that matters to us.
So Michael, you mentioned the sales team, and absolutely they had a huge hand in getting those folks there. But you guys and then the marketing team, you go into every trade show with a story to tell, right? Well, this is our plan. This is our campaign. This is the message that we're trying to get out. What was that story for CEDIA this year?
So there was probably two things. First of all, we wanted to reiterate the core brand themes of Crestron, our dedication to content, collaboration, and control within the residential space, and our true blue message around what we're doing for not only our dealers but our customers. Outside of the branding, really the message this year was to our dealers that we are the brand in the industry that will deliver tools so that you can thrive as a dealer. So we're going to continue to drive innovation and products so you can thrive as a business. And we're continuing to innovate so that we deliver the most exquisite smart home solutions to our clients and our dealers' clients. So really that message was based around that we are coming in hot this year with a host of products and solutions that prove that we should be your business of choice based around our company, our ethos, and the products and solutions that we're continuing to bring to market.
So you guys have been leaning into design, like beautiful design, because you came out with these new finishes for the Horizon keypads as an example. So how important is that balance of style with technology that works really well, is really easy to use in the residential market right now?
Well, I think everybody expects in our world across the very high end of smart home that products have to work seamlessly and beautifully. They also have to be designed beautifully and effortlessly for the customers. There isn't for me anywhere in between. So yeah, this year was a big year for that for us. We launched the Horizon Metal range. So that's our second generation of Horizon keypads, which last year we brought glass keypads, and this year we brought brushed metal. These are absolutely top of the range, the most premium keypads you can purchase on the market, with finishes that can really meet the most discerning of clients. But we also brought a brand new Cameo keypad. So our Cameos were a stalwart of the entire industry for Crestron. We've now brought the Cameo 2 version out, which just completely transforms the look and feel. So first of all, at that keypad level, they're aesthetically stunning, beautiful designs, textured and smooth finishes, like absolutely stunning. But then when you go below the surface, the ability for the dealer to produce a solution that actually suits all of our customers' needs with 138 different keypad configurations, full color RGB lighting, beautiful engraving, the list goes on. So from the keypad side, it's imperative. And we also launched a brand new remote, which again was built in the most luxurious designer aesthetic, even though it's solving like a single room, streaming first, how people watch TV today model. The finish is just absolutely aesthetically beautiful. So it's incredibly important. Design is everything. The people touching our product want it. So that is what we're doing. That's our focus.
Michael, you're talking about the keypads and the design for the remotes. This is all kind of a higher end thing. When you look at what the CI channel is trying to do. What opportunities do you see? What opportunities does Crestron see, and how are you guys helping those dealers get into that luxury lifestyle, that bringing that luxury level of technology to their customers?
So I think there's two things. First of all, even though these products are designed gorgeously, and we're saying sort of this luxury finish, the big opportunity for our dealers is the price point of these solutions is not out of reach of that mid-tier, second-tier, top-tier range. So we're not exclusively saying that you can only use our designer products in the most beautiful and luxurious of homes. So for Crestron dealers and for dealers maybe utilizing other brands, they really should be looking at this as beautiful products priced at the right price point for the projects that they're doing. So when you're looking at some of the sort of premium luxury category, these are built perfectly and compete exceptionally well in that category. The other opportunity is we launched Configure Pro. So we're always trying to bring to market simpler, more intuitive ways to configure and set up Crestron systems. Going back a number of years, we brought out the Crestron Home OS with the setup app based around an iPad or a laptop. You can go in and you can configure. This new platform, which is now onto early access, takes it one step further. It simplifies it further. It's a beautiful experience to configure the home, and really it makes it more intuitive for our dealers to do more at speed and with less barriers across the entire ecosystem. So the opportunity for all of the CI channel, if they haven't thought about doing Crestron Home previously and using the setup app, or there was a slight barrier or hesitation around, is Crestron too difficult? Even is the setup app too difficult? That can all be pushed aside. This Configure Pro platform is truly a spectacular way to configure, and that's an opportunity for existing dealers to do more at speed, and an opportunity for potential new dealers to enter their ecosystem and just instantly go, this is now easy for me to do. So tons of opportunity. I think it's a great time to be in the channel. It really is.
No, I love that. And I wanted to go back to the Cevo mini remote for a minute, because that was like one of the products that got a ton of attention at the show. So walk us through a little bit more of like what makes this stand out and why this product matters so much, or should, for homeowners and CIs.
So there is an ongoing trend. The industry knows it for a simpler, smaller version of remotes. We have a great range. Our premium TSR 310, it's a touchscreen. You can access tons of quick actions, rooms. You have a whole control on the touchscreen as well as hard buttons. You then have the HR 310, which is a button-only remote. With that, it's got engravings and you can change it and you order the engravings. And again, it's a very robust, solid, still premium remote. However, the market has this little slither right now where the trend for these smaller, simpler remotes is happening. And this has been driven from the likes of Apple and Amazon, the Fire Stick, all of these things that many customers like, I just want to be able to pick it up and streaming first, right? The idea of streaming first.
Yeah.
So we know that this was the case. So we brought to market what can only be the most premium, simple, beautiful remote that exists in the market. So first of all, what makes it stand out? Well, when you pick this thing up in your hand, it feels incredible. Premium materials, all glass finish on the front, settles beautifully in the hand. It is a stunning piece of art that sits in your hand. It is gorgeous. Then it's built for this single room experience. So at the top, you're able to swipe left to go through your streaming services or the cable box, for example, that you might want to select. Then you've got these what we're calling interactive cells that sit in the middle part. They allow you to not only control the TV and the volume, but also flick to your lights and shades in that room and have control. And actually the whole middle section of the remote, as you swipe the interactive cells, shifts with it. So you swipe to lights on the left, that was volume up and down, becomes up and down for your lights. Swipe again and it goes up and down for your shades. Then just above it, there's a section for quick actions. So it could be movie time, it could be evening. You could also have for your lights and shades, you could have different quick actions for there. They all come through on the display. Now, with all of this control and all of these actions, previously the dealer would have to do engravings and it would have to be engraved on the remote. These are all screens that can be tailored and changed on the fly to make the remote really easy to implement and edit. Then when you press the button, we use a really beautiful capacitive touch technology that actually levers from the bottom of the remote. You don't know it's doing that, but when you press, you get this little capacitive feeling underneath, totally unique to the industry. It feels really, really great. And it's something that at the show, once someone held it, it was like, this makes sense. Why are there no more remotes that have this sort of tactile feel, but it's done through haptic technology? So it's a super premium remote priced at a perfect price point between our models for a single room solution that is like a pick up and utilize and go remote. It's stunning. It's available pre-order now, shipping in December. And I do not think there's another remote on the market like it.
Very cool. All right, Michael, you mentioned that a lot of us will kind of roam around on the last day of every show. Hopefully you got out of the booth a little bit because of my next question. What was your favorite thing? And don't say the Cevo remote.
Am I allowed to say from Crestron?
No.
Okay. Configure Pro from Crestron is probably my favorite. Outside of Crestron, oh my God, that is a really difficult question. And this is I didn't feel like there was a whole host of things that were new at the show this year from other brands. But look, the Lutron guys, as always, brought an absolutely stunning experience.
Yeah.
And we're a good partner with Lutron, even though we're also a competitor. They always bring some really fantastic solutions to the show floor. Outside of that, look, there's some small things in the industry that actually were really nice. Wallsmart did some cool stuff.
Yep.
Origin brought some really nice new speaker products to the show. And I love the guys over at Portal.io. They're developing, it happened last year with their AI platform to help dealers, and they've leveled it up again this year. And it was a really good demo from those guys. So there's lots of little things happening throughout the industry. But being honest, I was in my booth pretty much the whole way through.
That's a fine answer, I suppose.
So Configure Pro from the Crestron booth, because I absolutely love that part.
All right.
Well, the good news about all of this is all of the products that you mentioned, I actually got videos of. So if anyone watching it wants to check them out, go to ravepubs.com/CEDIA Expo, and you can check out all of the Crestron product videos that I got from the show floor. And that's kind of like a short walkthrough of each of the products. But yeah, Michael, thank you so much. We appreciate your time. Thanks for coming on rAVe TV this morning.
No worries. Appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you, sir.
All right. We are going to actually show you a little bit more about that beautiful Cevo Mini remote. And then Tim and I will be right back. right, now for some news. I'm gonna have to go in a few minutes, so I told Tim that I would do a couple of these stories with him, and then I'm gonna peace out and let Tim finish it the rest of the show for me.
I'm not
Um,
nervous at all, by the way.
no, you can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. So first of all, Sony has announced its 2025-2026 roadshow. Stops include New York, Boston, LA, Toronto. Of course, we are seeing a lot more manufacturers start to do this, start to do like a smaller regional roadshow. And I think that works because not everyone goes to Infocom, not everyone goes to ISE, not everyone goes to CEDIA Expo. So I think that kind of bringing the products to people's different, big areas, I think is going to obviously be good for those people who don't travel to every single trade show.
And what you're doing now too, of why you're in Southern California, right? Distributors
Mhm.
are doing the same thing. I know that E4 is heading to Chicago as well. I'm going to meet you up there and hang out with you in the Chicago one. But you're right that there's a couple things that happened post COVID, and as you know, the especially higher education. Travel budgets got cut. Continuing education budgets got cut. So you're right. There's not a whole lot of folks. There are a whole lot of folks who aren't going to whatever trade show, and so they need either the education, they need the CTS renewal credits, or they just simply need to get their hands on new technology. I think that this is a trend that will continue at least for the next few years.
Absolutely. So if you want to see which exactly those dates are, and if you want to see if they're coming to a city near you, you can read that full story on ravepubs.com. All right, let's talk about Audinate and what they are bringing to IBC. Tim, are you going to go see this in person?
I am actually. There's
Okay.
there's two things with Audinate. First of all, one of the folks that help run Audinate here in the States, um, his name is Corey, and he lives in St. Louis. And the only time I ever see him is at trade shows. So, um,
Nice.
yeah. But yeah, Audinate is becoming increasingly important. Just to AV in general, they're getting more and more into broadcast, and they are really leaning on. There's a couple things happening. They're leaning on taking their audio chops, bringing in the video, and they're starting to add in
Mhm.
control, which is a strategic move that they started. I guess about a year ago now. Their CEO did a presentation and said, "This is the next 4 or 5 years of the future of Audinate."
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Tim, I'm going to let you continue on with the news. I am
All
going to
righty.
go get started with my day. But
Get some
Tim, good
coffee.
luck on your flight. Have a good time in Amsterdam.
Thank you, ma'am. All right. I'm not nervous at all. Jeez. I have Emily though. She's here. Uh, so a couple other stories. Number one, we just talked about Audinate. AV over IP in general is an interesting segment of the industry. And I have been poking fun at and encouraging at the same time IPMX. And one of the gentlemen that helps run IPMX, his name's Andrew Starks. And this article that is on AV Nation is called "Following the Hype Cycle to the Future of Open AV over IP." I am not speaking out of turn here. I have said this publicly. I have said this to the folks at IPMX. I see IPMX and I have a really bad flashbacks of Avenue Alliance, and the reason for that is they are both open standard, right? You have a group of folks who are very well intentioned, very smart, and they want to do have an open standard in this case for AV over IP for the industry. And 10 years later, AVB, which is the technology that the Avenue Alliance came up with and started developing and promoting, didn't exactly play out that way. And so the one thing I kept telling the folks at IPMX is, look, I think it's fantastic. Just from a theoretical standpoint and a philosophical standpoint, I applaud you and I will cheerlead you all day long. But you got to give me something. You got to show me some technology that works together. And not just me, but the industry. And so the piece that Andrew gave us and we posted on the website kind of goes into that and says, you know what, basically let us prove to you that this is for real. So again, I applaud them. I look forward to them proving me wrong and proving my pessimism wrong as well. Next story we're going to hit is from UC Today, and this is an interesting one because the EU sued Microsoft because, of course, they did because it's Microsoft, and they said, you know what, you can't bundle together Teams with the rest of the Microsoft suite. What really happened here was Slack got ticked, and Slack, if you're not familiar, is owned by oh, good Lord, Salesforce. Yeah, it took me a second. They're owned by Salesforce, and they took issue with the fact that that Microsoft had bundled Teams together. So they said, you know what, that's antitrust. You should not be able to do that. EU said, okay, well, you know, that is antitrust. You shouldn't be able to do that. So, like, for the 15th bazillionth time, Microsoft was sued for being antitrust, and they finally settled with the EU and said, okay, sure, you got to pay for Teams now. So for all of you watching in the EU, you will now have to pay for Teams separately if you and your company want to standardize on Teams. I have no idea who on earth this helps except for Slack, because if you're a Microsoft Office user, well, then now you got to buy another piece of software. If you're an IT manager, you've got to make sure that you manage those licenses. If you're Slack, yeah, okay, you've got a strategic advantage, I guess. I don't know. It's silly. The last thing we're going to hit before actually, that was the last thing we're going to hit before the commercial. So we have a fantastic commercial from Shure, and we'll be back to wrap up with a couple more stories.
A camera tracking system can help all participants to have an equally effective communication experience. But without precise location data from the microphone, inaccurate camera views and movements can leave far-end participants feeling frustrated and fatigued. The Microflex Advance MXA920 and MXA901 ceiling array microphones make great camera tracking easy. The MXA920, with its multi-zone automatic coverage technology, makes it simple to define the areas that you want to hear and see, allowing up to 8 individual coverage areas. The MXA901 allows for a simpler install with its single automatic coverage area. Built-in voice activity detection on both microphones ensures that unwanted room noises from keyboards or chip bags won't trigger a camera movement. The MXA920 and MXA901 identify each talker's precise location in real time with X, Y, and Z coordinates. These coordinates enable the camera system to frame a single person at a distance or capture simultaneous talkers. Unlike other array microphones that can only assign one camera preset per lobe, the MXA920 and MXA901 can identify an almost infinite number of talker positions to support a totally fluid automatic tracking system. Both microphones also support preset-based camera tracking, where microphone data is used to trigger predefined camera areas. Even in larger rooms with multiple microphones and cameras, the MXA920 and MXA901 accurately identify who's talking and where they are in the room, so that the camera system always shows the right person at the right time. A flexible API allows it to be integrated with all kinds of camera tracking systems, whether they're hardware or software-based, with one camera or multiple cameras. Learn how the Microflex Advance MXA920 and MXA901 can enable a premium video conferencing experience in your meeting room.
All right, I mentioned in our conversation earlier that there are a bunch of trade shows coming together. One of those is IFA in Berlin, and I've watched this one from afar. I am not looking to do more international travel, but this one is really interesting. This one reminds me of a bit of CES here in the States, because it has everything under the sun when it comes to technology. There are drones there. There are robotic vacuum cleaners, but there's also some really interesting technologies. TCL is there, the major display manufacturer. You've got folks like Sony and a whole bunch of other really great technologies, including the Philips Hue. They debuted some really interesting smart light bulbs as well. But check that out. It happens in Berlin every single year. It's called IFA. You can check them out if you're in Germany, or if it's something that you're interested in. Again, it's a bit like CES, simply because of the breadth of the amount of technology that's at this show. And again, it happens in like late August, early September every single year. So it's this. What used to happen was we'd have ISE, we'd have Infocom, and then we'd have CEDIA, and all of these other shows are we're feels like we're congregating here in different areas, especially around the fall. So it's really interesting. Next story here is rAVe is awarded the Zoom certification. And the thing that's interesting about this is it's aimed at telehealth. And that is an area that is increasingly adopting various parts of the UC space, not just for you need a doctor, one's not available, or you've got some sort of infection that you can't go out. Telehealth, certainly. But the other part of that, though, is the ability to monitor and to learn in different environments. They're called surgery theaters, where not only can a high risk or a very rare surgery can happen, and you can go watch it in person, but you can also view it as well. So the camera and the UC systems are really being integrated into the healthcare industry. Last piece, and only because I freaking love technology that's really cool. The Waterfall Audio, they debuted a new speaker system. It's called the Niagara XT3. The thing about this is, and I don't understand a whole lot about acoustic. I know enough to be dangerous. This is a glass speaker. And the part about acoustics that I understand is that shouldn't be possible because glass is reflective. You typically do not see glass speakers at all. And this thing is, not only does it sound good, because I've heard it both at ISE and in CEDIA's past, but it looks absolutely amazing. So if you get a chance, whether that is at ISE this coming February, or it's at CEDIA next year, or you have a dealer that is a dealer of the Waterfall, check it out. That is it for today. I hope I didn't burn anything down or ruin anything for Steph and Gary when they come back next week. We will be replaying this at noon Eastern today. If you want to find out more about rAVe, obviously go to ravepubs.com. From the end user standpoint, certainly go to AV Buyers Club. You can go to our site, avnation.tv. You can also, I mentioned the tech tour that Steph and I have done. You can follow Ivona 2030 on LinkedIn if you want to find out more videos there. So appreciate your hanging out with us. I appreciate Emily and the entire rAVe folks. Appreciate you guys. So have a good day, and we'll see you next time on the next end user.
It's the weekly show about Pro AV with the hottest news in the AV industry. It's rAVe TV. Give it up for Steph and Gary. Steph and Gary.